So this video that we're making here is on how to do test or quiz corrections. So I actually have somebody's test. Let me get the title out of the way. Whoops. I have somebody's test right here. And as you can see, they missed number 10. So what do you do? Well, I mean, the first thing to do is to look at your problem and try to figure out your mistake. And of course, if you still can't find your mistake, you could go on Edmodo and watch the videos for this exact question on the practice test. But you can't just correct it right here, right? You can't do it on the test itself. What do? You have to go to the notebook itself, and you got to open it up to the next available page, and you're actually going to write the words test corrections as a title. And that's not even a good enough title. You also need to write down what test it was. It was section 1.1, 1.2, 1.4. So you want to write down test corrections as a title. Again, the date and the day on each page. So I've copied over number 10 right there. And let's do it correctly. So the first thing to do would be P parentheses. So you look at the inside and you have an 8 minus 5. And 8 minus 5 is 3. So what we do is we write down the 3 and then we rewrite everything else. The square, the 3, the plus, the 2, the minus, the 25. Now, as I'm doing this, you want to write down an explanation right next to whatever work you're doing. So what was the very first thing that we did here? What was our first step? We did the subtraction inside the parentheses, right? Yeah, parentheses. So over here on the side, what I'm going to do is write down, and there's my first step. First do 8 minus 5 inside the parentheses, okay? So what's the next thing that we do? Exponent. You know what? Even before that, we should have also written down first do 8 minus 5 inside the parentheses, then rewrite everything. So I forgot that. So we write that down in our explanation. You rewrite everything. And just like you said, the next thing to do would be the exponents. I like circling what I'm doing here, so I have 3, well, that's ugly, 3 squared. But anyways, that's the next thing that we're doing. So I'm going to write that down as step 2, exponents. So there it is. Next to exponents, 3 squared. And obviously 3 squared is 9. And what else do we do besides that 9? We rewrite everything. So again, you're going to write down rewrite everything. So let me rewrite everything. There's a 3 in front. You could keep it in parentheses. The plus, the 2, the minus, the 25. Now after that, we're faced with addition, multiplication, and subtraction. So what are we going to do next? Multiplication. So I would underline that, and I would write that down as my next step, the 3 times 9. So multiplication is next, 3 times 9, and of course we get 27, and rewrite everything. So as you can see, each correction is going to end up being a lengthy process. So let me rewrite everything. We have the plus that comes down, the 2, the minus, the 25. Now the last step, you could lump it together and say step 4 is add, subtract from left to right. So 2 plus 27 is 29. 29 minus 25. Final answer is 4. So check it out, guys. This is rewritten. All the work is shown correctly, accompanied by each step as if you were explaining it to somebody. That's exactly what I want to see on each question when it comes to corrections. So if you missed one question, that's the amount of work you should have. If you missed several questions, man, you could have pages on corrections, right? So make sure that you're this detailed explaining each of your steps, right? It's not just about writing down the right answer. It's not, you got to show your work and explain each of the steps. Okay, so let's pretend that this person also missed number 13, even though she actually got it right. But let's pretend she missed number 13. So let's go to the notebook and let's copy down 13 over again. So here we go, number 13, you go back to your notebook. So I separated number 10 from the number 13. And this is an evaluation problem, so we have our values that we're going to be plugging in. So what is the very first thing that we're supposed to do? We're supposed to rewrite everything, but instead of the letters, write down parentheses. So that's what we're supposed to do. Rewrite everything, but instead of letters, write down parentheses. So you're going to actually, in words, explain that. So there's my first step. Rewrite everything, but instead of variables, put parentheses. And it's better that I type it out instead of my handwriting's pretty ugly. So like we said, what's the next step after that? Insert your values, right? So let's write that down. So that's what we're doing for step 2, plugging in values. Let me plug them in. The C value is 3, the A value is 8, the B value is 4. And now we have something to actually simplify. So let's simplify the top. And what do we do on top? What's our next step? What's the first thing we do?
Multiply.
Exponents.
Oh.
Because, I mean, yeah, there's parentheses, but there's nothing to do in there. There's nothing to do in there, nothing to do in there. So you move on to E, exponents. So we're actually going to do this as our next step. So let me write down step 3. Right here, I'm going to write it by hand. Do exponents. And that's 3 squared. Yeah, you could follow PEMDAS, but because this is a correction, I want you guys to explain every single step that you're doing, every single thought process that you're doing in your head, as if you were explaining it to somebody that doesn't know how to do it. So step 3 is to do the 3 squared, and we're going to get 9. So let me put down the 9, and then you also then rewrite everything. So we're going to rewrite everything. We have the 2. We could keep parentheses on the 9, the minus, the 8 times 4, and over 2. Okay, so then the next thing to do, let's put a step 4 over here. What is step 4? Multiply. 2 times 9 and 8 times 4. So these are the 2 multiplication problems that we're doing for step 4. So 2 times 9 is 18. 8 times 4 is 32. And we're going to rewrite everything. So let me go back to step 4. So we did multiply 2 times 9 and 8 times 4, and then rewrite everything. Whoa, that's not good. So step 5, what's the next thing we do for step 5?
You subtract 18 minus 32, and you get negative 14.
Subtract 18 minus, subtract 18 minus 32, and we do get, what do we get?
Negative 14.
Negative 14. So we really have negative 14 over 2, and the last step, number 6,
Divide.
last step, divide. So we end up with negative 7 as our final answer. Again, that's a lot of work to show for the correction on that one problem. But I hope this video helps. This is the amount of work I need to see on each problem that you correct. Ladies and gentlemen, when you correct it, when you finish all your corrections, you can show it to me, and you will get a 5% boost on your test. So your 95% could go up to 100%. Your 85 could go up to a 90. Your 50 could go up to a 55. Not only that, once you're done with corrections and I accept them, you will be eligible for a retake. So let's say you got an 80 and you did corrections, you'll get an 85. But let's say 85 is not good enough. Let's say you wanted an A. You could talk to me, maybe come in before or after school, and you could retake it. And if you happen to ace it, I'll give you an A, right? So the opportunity's there. Edmodo has everything explained to you. So take advantage of this and let's all have an A.